Please, state your name.
River Elea Catherine Jones.
3-8.
What's up guys, V here for another Platinum walkthrough video. This time it's for Elea. Overall this will take you about 2 to 3 hours or so to get the Platinum, depending on if you miss anything, as there are quite a handful of missable trophies in this game. All of those are listed down below and they are separated by their chapter, just so you have something to reference. If you do not have the volume on your controller turned on, I highly recommend turning it up even just a few clicks. There are audible cues that happen throughout the game that will help you with your progression. It's not necessary or required. Again, it helps to have those cues so you know you're not losing your mind or anything.
Yes.
As far as dialogue goes, do not skip any dialogue. Whenever you see the little circle appear at the bottom of your screen, do not hit it. Anytime you have multiple dialogue options, always start from the top and work your way down to make sure you get all of them. You do not want to miss any, because you will be blocked out of the Master of Recovery trophy and possibly the Master of Curiosity trophy, which is kind of a pain in the butt to go back and do. So just make sure you do not skip anything, and then you should be good on that. So outside of that, I will show you where all of the optional interactions and everything are. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Just at the start here, we're going to go ahead and get this one out of the way. At the start, you will see that there is a moon right next to Elea's face. Just hold right on the right joystick or analog stick, whatever you want to call it, to speed it around, and then once it makes one full orbit, some fireworks will happen and a trophy will pop for you. So this will take maybe a minute or so, so just keep orbiting it, and then when the fireworks pop, we can move on. And just as a heads up, if you don't do this here, you can only do this at the beginning of the game and at the end of the game. If you are in the middle of a playthrough and you are at the main menu, you will not be able to speed the moon like that. It has to be before you start a game or after you finish one. So just a heads up, if you do not get it here, you can wait until the end of the game. It's completely up to you. Doesn't matter to me. There's your Stargazer trophy. So from here, hit new game, and you're going to go through a whole bunch of dialogue before we end up in the baby's room to actually start chapter 1. So just sit through this, grab some tea, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me. And then we'll meet back up here when we are actually in the baby's room.
Before we begin, I need to be certain that you are fully aware of what we're about to do here, El. have to hear you say this out loud.
Yes, I agree.
Forgive me, but I must repeat this one last time. The procedure will not erase any of your memories. It will only seal some of the mapped neural pathways, thus blocking certain memory clusters. As a result, the frequency of recall in your day-to-day life will be moderately diminished, and you might struggle with long-term memory access. Are you completely certain that this is what you want?
I'm not certain of anything, Ollie. Are you?
I cannot guarantee that these pathways will never be reopened.
I am aware of that.
Is your decision final?
Yes, it is.
Please, state your name.
River Elea Catherine Jones.
On the count to 10, you will start to relax, and at the end you will feel entirely void. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Okay, so while this loads in, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know that this is one of the points where having the volume on your controller up is beneficial, as the phone will ring through the speaker on the actual controller. When it does, just hit cross or circle a couple of times and then eventually you'll pick it up. And then just exhaust this little dialogue with your husband, who is a hologram on a chair in front of you.
Hey.
Right there. And he will ask you how the baby is doing. When he does, just look down at your belly to move forward.
When did you arrive?
A couple hours ago. How's the baby?
And how's the baby? So look down, and she will respond.
He's asleep, just like his mommy.
Alright, and then shortly after this will be one of the times where you have multiple dialogue options to choose from. Again, just start from the top and work your way down. So colleagues, Orbit 3 station, and then the weather conversation will automatically happen.
So now they're stuck in the docking bay for decontamination.
How is Jan August?
He's in there too, poor sucker. But I met Olivia Tambor.
Oh, you've met the boss lady. How's she in person?
She's tiny.
No way.
I was surprised too. Still just as creepy as on the Vicons. We'll get along fine though. I can feel it.
Ethan Emanuel knows women best.
Well, it's basically a completely new station using Orbit 2 as a backbone. You can't really tell that it used to be something else before. This Watanabe guy is truly a genius architect.
Big words.
I'm telling you, if we had this level of functionality and comfort on Mars orbital, we wouldn't have left.
You know that's not why we left.
I'm only kidding. If anything, you would say the place is lacking a soul. Is the storm still wreaking havoc?
Okay, so now we are in the weather conversation, and Elea will stand up, get a little dizzy, and when she turns the lights on, just go ahead and walk straight to the window to answer his question on how the weather is doing.
Yeah, looks like it'll rain forever. There's some energy out there to take us to Titan. I sure chose the perfect time.
Okay, and the dialogue you want to look for next is when the baby kicks. The baby will kick twice, and that'll basically mean the end of this conversation, so we can go ahead and start rebuilding furniture for the good job trophy.
Wait, he did it again.
I love you all.
We love you too, Ethan. I'm missing you so much.
I only left this morning.
It feels much longer.
I'm always with you, even from above.
Okay, so for this one, as you can see, there is a crib that is missing a panel and a cupboard in the back that is missing a door and a drawer. So we need to rebuild those for the good job trophy. So go ahead and pick up the gate to the crib and just place it on until it's highlighted green, and it'll place itself on. And then the drawer is right to the left of the crib, so pick that up and slowly make your way over to the cupboard in the back. And wait for the highlight green, and it'll drop itself down. And the door is in the back left corner by these building blocks. So go ahead and do the same and pick it up, carry it over to the cupboard, and place it when it is highlighted green. And that will get you your good job trophy. So once you have that, exit out of this room. And then you're just going to go over to Frankie's door and have a little conversation with the little brat, because he is incredibly rude right here. That's none of my business though, but as soon as the conversation is done, you will be able to move here, you just really, really slowly. So it's best to just wait until the entire conversation is done so that you don't have to move at a snail's pace. But just to let you know, we are going to be going through that door right there next to the red car. So as soon as you can actually have some movement, she'll talk about her weight and going up the stairs and exercising and all that stuff, and then it'll finish.
You gotta go to the mainframe and allow the app in your account.
In the study? That's 2 flights of stairs. Can't I do it from the wristcom?
Not the first time.
Do you know how much I weigh?
A little exercise never hurt anyone.
I'll tell you about exercise. You just...
Okay, so that is the end of the conversation. As you can see, you can move a little more freely now. So interact with the door to open it, and then straight ahead of you is going to be a dress hanging on a clothes rack. You want to interact with this dress.
These are the shoes and the dress my mother bought me for graduation. She wanted me to look elegant, but instead I looked awkward. Or at least I felt that way. The next time I wore them was at my mother's funeral. Why am I still holding on to these clothes? It's kind of hypocritical of me to nag at Ethan about his hoarding.
Okay, and once that dialogue is done, head over to the bed, and on the right side is going to be a mirror on the wall. Interact with the mirror, and it'll flash a couple of times and do different scenes. Once it does, you are okay to move on. You don't have to turn it off, you can if you want, it doesn't really matter. Alright, so the next part, we need a coffee cup, and this coffee cup is actually going to be in a few locations. It can be on this nightstand, over on this table back here, which is where it is for me right now. So if it is, go ahead and pick it up and interact with it twice to actually put it in your inventory. And then the third place is in the bathroom itself, on the far left side of the counter by those soap bottles and stuff. That's the third location. But before we go in there, we're going to interact with the bottom drawer on this nightstand and pick up some folic acid. Again, interact with it twice to make sure it's put in your inventory, and now go into the bathroom. And just to reiterate, this is where the third location of the coffee cup will be if you do not have it yet. So in here, you want to interact with the rightmost faucet, and you're going to fill it up with water, add the folic acid to it, and drink it all on her own. You don't need to do anything extra, just wait for her to gulp it down. So once she has, go ahead and exit the bathroom and exit the bedroom, and we're going to head right on downstairs. Okay, when you get here, just go ahead and take a hard left. So you're going towards the kitchen. We're going to backtrack a little bit here in a second, but we need the power to go out first, so make sure that happens before we do anything. There we go. Alright, and there's going to be a little bit of dialogue before you can move, but eventually you will pull out a flashlight so you can see where you're going. Just wait for them to finish talking, and then we can move forward.
Be careful in the basement stairway from the kitchen storeroom. Once you're there, I'll give you specific instructions.
Okay. Thanks, Moonshine.
You're welcome, Starlight. Again, be careful.
Okay, so before we turn on the power, we're going to go do the motherly thing that we need to do and check on our son. So you want to head back to the stairs that you just came down on. So just turn around and head towards this planter, and the stairs are right next to it.
Are you managing okay?
Sure.
Alright, and then just walk up to Frankie's door and you're going to have a little conversation with him, and he's going to be a little brat again. But as soon as that's done, we can go back down and get the power turned back on.
Yes, Mom, I'm fine. You know it's not the first time this happens after we change the planet.
I am sorry, my boy. I'm going to restart the generator and check up on you again.
I'm fine. Please leave me alone now.
Alrighty, so turn around and go right back downstairs and head back to the kitchen. So once you get down to the bottom, take a hard left. Now you don't actually have to go into the basement for this part, so you can get the key before you go in there. And as you can see on that table, there is kind of a cup-shaped green outline. That is the one you are looking for, as that is the key. It is in a few different locations, this table being one. Sometimes it's over here on this little counter. Sometimes it is actually on the kitchen counter by the sink. And then there's another table just over there that it can also be on. So just make sure you look around everywhere. They all have the same outline. So as long as you see that outline, that is your key. So go ahead and pick it up and interact with it twice to put it in your inventory. And then just left to the kitchen is the storage and basement room, so head on in there, and you need to move this white box out of the way, so just pick it up and then place it preferably on something so it's not on the floor, because if anything is in your way in this area, it will block you from being able to walk through this. You can't step over things in this game, so just make sure it is out of the way, and then interact with the door to unlock it with the key, and head on downstairs. Alright, and to the right in the back of the room is a little touchpad that will turn the power back on, so make your way over there.
The battery dies at the best possible moment.
And just interact with it to turn the power on, and the light should turn green. She'll get a little bit of a scare, but then the lights will magically appear. Okay, so head on back upstairs, and we're going to do some of the optional interactions in the kitchen and the living room area. She does walk slow. You can't run until at least, I want to say, the beginning of chapter 3, so unfortunately, this is the speed that we are going to go, and it kind of is what it is. So once you are out of the storage closet, head over to the kitchen and in the sink and interact with the big pot in the sink itself.
I adore him, but I know
And then just exhaust this dialogue.
Ethan would still leave a mess anywhere he goes. I'll ask him to invest in a Staho this time when he returns. It will keep Sophie company, and we will all be happy to have the extra help.
Okay, and then turn right And there's a living area right in front of you with this little ambulance in front of this armchair. Go around the armchair, and on the floor is going to be a spill. Just walk up to it and she'll acknowledge it, asking where it came from, how did it get there, because the cup was on the table before the power went out. So that's why she's confused. And if you turn around and look at the music sign, there's going to be a door just to the left of it. This is a bathroom door. Interact with it to open it, and then interact with the mirror inside, and it will glitch out. Just wait for it to finish, and she will thank the thunder for the error, and then we can go on.
Thanks, Thunder.
Okay, so exit the room. Go ahead and hug the right, and the lamp right in front of you, there's going to be an opening just to the right of it with that purple light. That is where we are going to go. So enter this room, and as you see, there are going to be a whole bunch of doors. You want the one for the spa, so interact with the doors and go inside.
The lights
And then move forward just a little so she turns the lights off. And then interact with the koi fish painting on the right side. There is a chance that you'll be able to interact with it before she turns the lights off, but if she doesn't, that's fine. You may need to move forward just a little bit to get the actual cue to interact with it. Just play with it a little bit until it allows you to get it.
diver in my family from my mother's side. My great-grandfather used to swim with the great white sharks. I wonder if these are extinct now.
Okay. And then turn left, and the fountain that's right in front of you with the little red peace sign, yin-yang sign in front of you. There is a moon rock on this little pedestal. Interact with it. You don't have to spin it all around, you just have to pick it up. And then hit L2 to put it back down, and some dialogue will start. Just wait for it to finish, and then we can move forward.
Your eyes are full of stars, much like this rock.
A gift for me? Not too original, is it?
Yeah, but real enough.
Okay, and if you turn to the right, there's going to be two doors. One is a gym, one is a sauna. We want to go inside the sauna, and this will get us the Steam Lover trophy. So once you're inside, turn around, interact with the touchpad to turn the sauna on, and sit on the bench. And this bench actually counts for one of the seats you need to sit on for the lazy trophy, so this is kind of a 2-in-1 deal. And you're just going to sit here for about 30-45 seconds or so and just wait for the trophy to pop, and then we can leave. Okay, and there's your trophy. So go ahead and stand up, exit the sauna, and exit the spa room itself, and then we're going to go into the garage. So exit out of here. And then when you get back into the little hallway area, turn left, and you're going to go into the garage. And interact with the motorcycle in the middle, and then just exhaust the dialogue that comes from
Imagine
it.
how cluttered the rooms would look like with Ethan's obsession for vintage items made here on Earth. Hoarding is such madness. I hope Francis doesn't take after his father on this.
Okay, so exit the garage, and then if you look to the right, there's going to be a staircase, so go ahead and go up the stairs here. And there's going to be another chair that you need to sit on for the lazy trophy, so turn left around the corner, and this chair right here, go ahead and sit on it for a couple of seconds. You really don't have to do it for like maybe 5, but just make sure it registers. Just wait a little bit, and then go ahead and stand up. And then over on these double doors, this is the study. This is where we need to go to continue with the story. interact with the keypad, and the code you want to put in is 4472. Okay, so interact with the doors to open them. Go inside, and you're going to interact with the monitor at the desk that is on the right-hand side of the room. Okay, and again, this is where having the volume on your controller up is going to be helpful because there are audible cues in this section. So here, make sure you have messages selected and then interact with that. And then just hit cross again to actually unlock the feature.
Okay, Francis.
And you have to wait until your wrist comm is fully charged, which you will hear happening on your controller. And then when it beeps, it's done, and then we can move on to the second page. So when the back screen is no longer blurry, that's when you can move forward. So go ahead and move over to the second one, and that will unlock the Master of Curiosity trophy.
You are Thunder?
So finish up the dialogue here, and then we can exit out and head back to Frankie's room.
You will be light. Lucien. Lucien.
Alright, and pick up the phone call with Ethan.
Yes.
It doesn't matter which dialogue option you choose here. I just keep choosing Francis, but you can choose Ethan if you want. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have any effect on any trophies or the game itself.
You can't spill stuff in 0G.
Such a smartass belongs in the study.
I already finished the job in the study.
Alright, so again, just choose whichever one you want.
So, today I was...
And basically from here, we're going to go back down, go back up the stairs we initially came down.
Here in this...
So go towards the living area,
He actually
and
said
then just to the left is going to be the staircase.
Uh-huh.
So head on up.
He also said he preferred the weather on Mars 10 times more.
that's because he hasn't been in a sandstorm that rips your nose off the moment you stick it out.
I told him that. I don't know, but I think he has a master plan to drive me crazy.
Well, don't forget, he's still adapting, just like we all are. It'll pass.
I hope you're right.
Okay, and then just walk up to his door, interact with it to open it, and there's going to be a stuffed animal that's going to be right in the way. Just go ahead and pick it up and toss it out of the way,
Frank.
and head over to his bed.
Hello, Elea.
Switch off, Sophie.
Okay, and it should still be in front of you, so just walk forward a little bit more to continue on with the story. And then there's going to be a little cutscene here, and this will finish up chapter 1.
When his father come back?
What?
You have to go find him, Mother.
Frankie? Lou?
Okay, so as this loads in, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that there are 2 missable trophies in this first section. One of them is to beat the labyrinth in 15 seconds or less, and the other one is to get that super funky error code trophy. We'll focus on the labyrinth first. I will be doing this twice, like running through the labyrinth twice, just because I felt like that made the game go a little quicker after the error trophy popped. You'll see what I mean when we get there, but the first time I run through it, I will not be doing it in 15 seconds or less. I will be showing you the route you need to take. So if you want to get this on the first go, make sure to watch that part of the video first and then make your way into it. So that's going to be right at the start here. So when you load in, turn around, go towards the doors in the back, and then when the screen turns red, this is the labyrinth that you are currently in. So to beat this in under 15 seconds, immediately turn around, and there's going to be a line on the ground behind you. Follow this around, and then take the left path. And then the blades of this little fan are going to fly off into your face. Just walk up to the door, wait for Elea to give you a little audio cue, and then turn around. And this will end the labyrinth, and if you did it in under 15 seconds, the trophy will pop. If not, you will have one more opportunity to get this. Technically, you'll have unlimited opportunities, but again, I'll tell you more when we get there. So from there, just walk towards the window, and you'll get a little bit of a story dialogue. Wait for the room to flash red. Turn around, face the doors, and you're going to wait for a large orb to load into the screen, and then you're just going to walk into it. Okay, so there's the orb. And then this will give you one of the first little mini errors, not the one for the trophy, but just one that is required for the trophy. And it does take a little while to load back in, so just be a little patient on this part, and then it'll look as if the chapter is reloading, but you want to listen for Elea to say, "What again?" as it's going through the little C part, and that'll let you know that you're on the right track. So again, just be patient, wait for it to load in, and then we'll be back in the room.
Again?
Okay, so once you are back in the room and you have control, go ahead and make a full 180 and walk towards the doors in the back again. This time there won't be a labyrinth to go through, it'll just be like the room itself. So once you reach the doors, turn around, walk back towards the window, and you'll get that same little story dialogue that you got before. So when that happens, wait for the room to flash red again, and then turn around and wait for the next orb to load into the middle of the room, and we're going to walk into that one as well. Okay, and this time when you try to walk into it, Elea will try to stop you. Just ignore her and continue on your way. And this will give you the second of the small little error codes that happens before the big one that unlocks the trophy. So once again, just wait it through. You'll go through the whole rebooting screen again. And as before, when it loads back into the level, it'll look like the start of chapter 2, but you want to listen for Elea to say, "What again?" as you're going through the C part to let you know that you are on the right course. Okay, so once you are loaded back in the room once again, make a full 180 and make your way towards the back of the room where the doors are. And then when you reach those, turn back around and walk right back to the window. And you'll get that little story dialogue for the 3rd time.
Kazumi, Voyager.
And then again, the room will flash red. Once it does, turn around and face the doors, and then wait for the orb to load into the middle of the screen. Okay, and walk into it, and again, Elea will try to stop you. Just ignore her and keep walking forward. You'll eventually go into it. There we go. And then this will give you the big error that will crash, well, quote-unquote crash the game, and then give you the funky, lots of letters, lots of number error trophy, and then it'll start you right back at the main menu. So while this is loading, when we load back into it, it will start us at the very beginning of Chapter 2, which means you will have another opportunity to get that Labyrinth trophy if you did not get it before. Now, if you miss it on this time, you can keep going through the orbs to get the error messages, and then the final error that crashes you back to the main menu. And then from there, you can hit continue and do the Labyrinth again. So you kind of have unlimited tries for it. It's not that difficult, so you should be able to get it. If not the previous one, then definitely on this one. So when we load in, just letting you know, this will be my 15-second run on it. So again, the second you load into the red area, immediately turn around and start following the line on the ground. So let's load into this and then we'll get it done. Okay, so once we're loaded in, again, we're going to do this super quick because we are timed. When you turn around and start walking towards the door, the second the room turns red, immediately turn around, follow the line on the ground. When it splits, take the left path, and then the fan blade will fly towards you. And then wait for Elea to say something, and then immediately turn around. And that will finish the labyrinth, and if you did it in 15 seconds or less, the trophy will unlock. So from here, we're going to walk towards the window, and once again, get that story-related dialogue that we keep hearing over and over and over again. And then from here, it's kind of a waiting game. It's a little fuzzy as to what actually triggers the next event. So you can stare at the window, you can interact with the window, just walk around, it's really up to you. But two things are going to happen. A dolphin is going to fly up and hit the window, and then a shark is going to swim out and get the little baby basket that is in the water just across the way. So as soon as Elea acknowledges that there is a crib, that's when everything will start. So here's your dolphin. I think it's a dolphin. Could be a shark. I don't know. Some sort of marine animal just flying into the window. And then there's your shark. And it's going to go grab the crib and then bring it down this way. And once it's close enough, you will automatically interact with it, and then we can move forward.
Ethan.
Okay, and as soon as you interact with him, go ahead and turn around and you'll see another large orb in the center of the room. You do not want to walk into this one. Instead, walk around the left side and it will change shape a little bit. And then as you can see, you now have a cue to interact with this, and this little sign will appear that is facing to the right. But if you wait a few seconds, you'll see that this little spectral thing in the center will turn it so that it is facing up, cueing you to look up. And as you can see, there's a sign up there and the orb that is floating up. When the sign turns blue, that means the elevator doors will open. So go ahead and go through them and you'll automatically take a ride that will take you to the last part of chapter 2. Okay, and when the doors open, go ahead and go out onto the platform. Now this is another part that is a little finicky. I'm just going to do what worked for me on this. Just go ahead and start taking laps around the platform that you are standing on. I don't know if this actually triggers anything, but it felt like it was triggering things to go a little faster than just standing there. I tried to compare it, and it was a little, again, just a little on the funky side. But yeah, so as long as you can move, just keep making little laps around the platform, and then you'll see the whale, and then some text will pop up, and then eventually you will meet KAAAZ. So just keep going. Okay, and then eventually you'll get some green flashes that happen on the screen. That'll let you know that you're pretty close to the ending of this, and then eventually you will be stopped and won't be able to move. At that point, the platform for KAAAZ to come down will come seemingly from the sun. I'm not really sure where it comes from. But yeah, so the platform will extend out, and then KAAAZ will make his way down. And this will finish up the dialogue for chapter 2, and after this little interaction, everything will disappear and the trophy for completing chapter 2 will unlock. There is a little part after this that it kind of feels like it's supposed to be part of chapter 2 and not chapter 3, but it's not related to either of them really. But the trophy will unlock before that part, so just a little heads up on it.
Are you with me?
KAAAZ, what happened?
There was an interference with your console.
What interference?
Something in here. I can't read the data. Interesting.
You can't.
I suggest to speak in private. Come to MedScan. I need to examine you anyway.
Why do I need to be examined?
I'm executing a forced shutdown now.
Okay, and then everything will start to disappear, and again, once it does, your trophy will unlock. This next part does take a little while to load in. You didn't freeze, nothing on YouTube is frozen, it's just taking its sweet time right now, so just wait it out. Okay, so this part, you want to walk towards the anomaly that is kind of in front of you. The screen is tearing just a little bit. So the one with all the lines, the spectral, time rift, green, light, flashing, whatever you want to call it, however you want to describe it. You just want to make sure that Elea is walking towards it. So turn the screen if you need to. So it's right by her. Here we go. And then that little scene will end, and we'll be at the beginning of chapter 3.
Jones?
Okay, so as soon as you load into chapter 3, you'll see that the anomaly is now like right above you. Just stare at it to make it disappear. And then your name will appear nice, bright, and shiny for everybody to see in the most awkward way possible. So once that happens, just exhaust a little bit of dialogue with Alice, and she'll let you know about some messages that are on your wrist comm. And after the first part of the conversation, you'll be able to check them, so just give it a few seconds.
Pissed him off real good.
Okay, and hit X. And then there's one message, and be sure to hit R1 for the second message as well, and then just back out of this, and then you'll finish up the dialogue with Alice, and then you'll stand up and we'll be able to roam around and get some of the optional interactions done in this area before we go on.
I don't get it.
For all it matters, I am on your side.
Oh, that changes everything.
What? You don't believe I want you to find your husband?
I believe you don't care.
Okay, so from here, turn right, and there's going to be this little low table down on the ground. Interact with this to get a little hologram. You can turn it on or off if you want, it doesn't matter, just as long as you interact with it once. Then over by the window, there's a chair. Pick up the book that's by the chair, hit R2 to read it. And then just close out of this, and then pick up the can that is right next to the book. You don't have to spin it all the way around. As long as you pick it up, that'll be fine. And then put that back down. And then interact with the red chair, and this will give you one seat that counts towards the lazy trophy. And as you can see, you have a little dialogue cue on the window. Hit X to start the conversation. And make sure you go through both dialogue options with Alice.
Approach the planet's surface.
Nah, why ruin the view?
You're not taking this seriously, Alice. This planet might be the closest we get to making contact.
Forgive me if I'm not too excited, but whatever your man Ethan and his people dug up down there, whatever's causing these, what you call them? Space-time rifts? Made whoever hide the ship from us to hide the ship from us. If there was a way, I'd just haul the damn thing back to the solar system and forget about investigating on Solus.
You're not even a little curious? I don't get it.
Curiosity is overrated.
Did you and I ever talk about the fate of Pilgrimage?
I don't know what you're referring to.
What do you think happened on that ship?
The pilgrimage? I don't know. I'm just an IT person.
I'm asking you what you think. Nobody knows anything anyway.
Well, only an existential threat would push the ship nav to quarantine the whole ship.
But why wasn't there a distress signal?
It wasn't a technical issue, that's for sure. World Tree-class network architectures are virtually fail-safe.
So you mean the distress signal was blocked out on purpose?
I don't know, Jones.
Okay, and then once you get the cue to go ahead and stand back up, go on and do so. And then if you turn around on this little planter bench thing here, there's going to be a cup with a tablet next to it. Interact with the tablet, interact with it again to read it. And there's only one page on this one, so once it's open, go ahead and close out of it. And keep following the way around the room. And past the second planner. And then on this third one, there's going to be a can on the opposite side here. So pick this up. Again, you don't have to look at the entire thing. Picking it up is just fine. So put it down once you're done. And then of course there's like a little book over here, but you can't interact with that, so don't worry about it. So go back to where Alice is sitting, and on the console next to her, interact with her coffee cup.
It's empty.
And interact with her wrist comm.
That'll be an invasion of her privacy.
Alright, then turn around, and this is the chair that you were just sitting in, so interact with the console to the left of that chair.
Should I try another memory?
And then sit down in the chair, and we're going to start the Mars memory. Okay, and this is actually a super quick little section, but there are 2 missable trophies in this section. One of them is for the origami crane, the pushing me softly, and then the other one is socializing, and that's to look at all of the holographic Martians that are standing around the area. That one is a little on the finicky side, so hopefully we can get it in one go. We are about to find out. So once you load into the screen, or sorry, load into the level, I should say, the memory, there's going to be a little garden area to your right with a large tree. Just walk forward and around to the left of it, and on this little bench is going to be a red crane. Pick up the red crane with R2, and then if you look on this branch that's sticking out, you'll see that there is a white origami crane standing on top of it. You want to aim the red crane so that it hits the white crane and knocks it off. And that will unlock pushing me softly. Now if you did not get that on the first go, as long as you can find your red crane, you can go ahead and try again, so I'm pretty sure mine's like one of those. If you cannot find your crane, then you do need to exit back to the main menu and start again. And that will start you back at the beginning of chapter 3. So if you do need to redo that part or exit out of it, be sure to interact with all the optional stuff that we just did so that you don't miss any of them. If you did get it, then we can go ahead and move on. So just past the tree, you will see the first holographic Martian just standing at that table over there. So walk over to her, and for these guys, you want to stare at them for like a couple of seconds. I did zoom in on all of them and it seemed to help a little bit. I don't know if it actually does, but basically just count like 4 to 6 seconds of just staring at them, and then once that's done, exit out of this building, and you'll see the next one standing just to the left of the stairs. And you can run now, so you can hit L1 to run if you so wish. So once again, stare at them for a few seconds, zoom in on them, make sure it's known that you are in fact staring at them. And then as you can see, there is a large orb floating out in the air over here. Interact with that. Alright, then just keep following this path to the left. And on this left bench is going to be a green holographic Martian. Once again, walk up to him, stare at him, zoom in on him, make sure it is known that you are looking at him. Okay, and then continue down the path. We're just going to go ahead and run down this. And you'll see 3 more holograms down at the end. Make sure you stare at each of them individually so that they all register. I don't know if it counts as you are looking at the group as a whole, but I did find looking at the individuals seemed to help a little bit. So there's 1, 2, and of course the Okay, so exit back. And then when you reach the stairs, just keep going past them. And we're going to get 2 more little holograms on a bench on the other side. Okay. And sitting on the bench, you have a red and a green one. So just as before, make sure you look at both of them individually. Again, I zoomed in on all of them because it seemed like it helped a little bit. I don't know if it actually does. Maybe just some all up in their face. But either way, there's 1 and then 2. Okay, and that's it for this little area for now. There is a chance that we'll have to come back here, so just keep that in mind. So make your way back to the to the stairs, and then up the stairs. And there's going to be a little cutscene. You are still controlling Elea at this point, so make sure you're still hitting forward on the analog stick so that you go up the stairs. Now this part, there is a red jogging hologram that will run past you, and when it runs past is seems kind of random. I haven't quite pinned it down, but to start, just go ahead and go over to this light post and stare at the pink hologram. Again, zoom in on it, stare at it, make sure it's known that it is being looked at. And then just past it on this bench is a yellow one. So again, stare at it, zoom in on it. And back out. And this is also a bench that will count towards the lazy trophy, so sit down on the bench. And if you look over, there is a chance you will see the red jogger run on by. Yep, he just ran by. So he's down there. I don't know if you can see him. He's kind of to the right of the last tree. But either way, now that you've sat down, stand back up. And then make your way down to the statue at the end. Okay, so before interacting with the red guy, if you look to the left, you'll see that shadowy figure. This is Ethan. So just walk up to him, and this is actually story related. You can't exit this area without interacting with him. And then on the bench is a tablet. Go ahead and read the tablet. And exit back out. And now go ahead and stare at the red hologram. Again, zoom in, stare at him, just wait a couple of seconds. Alright, and on the center of the little statue pedestal is a yellow hologram. This one I did zoom in quite a lot to try to get it because I didn't know if it would read by just standard staring at it, so just make sure you zoom in on this one for sure. Okay. And then just keep going forward, and you want to stick to the left side of the bridge on this part. And as you can see, there is a yellow and a blue hologram. So as before with the groups, stare at each of them individually. And the blue one. Alright, so keep going forward, and you're going to go down some stairs, and don't enter the building just yet. Instead, take a left. Right, down at the end of this path is going to be another hologram. As with the others, just stare at them, zoom in on them, make sure it is registering that you are looking at them. Okay, so this is technically the last one, but as you can see, we do not have a trophy. So we're going to do a little bit of backtracking. Make your way back to where the 2 holograms were exercising, and you will see that they have changed positions now. So Head back to the stairs, and then up the stairs, and then stick to the right side of the bridge. Alright, and just as before, make sure you look at both of them, each individually, zoom in on both of them. And the other one. Alright, so make your way back to the little central statue area, and you're going to look at the yellow and the red one again as well. Let's look at the red guy. And at the yellow. Alright, and we should just have one more, so keep backtracking a little, but we're going to look at these two along the way, just in case, to be on the safe side. Again, this trophy is a little finicky, so better be safe than sorry. So the yellow guy sitting on the bench, go ahead and look at him, zoom in on him, make sure he is being stared at. And then the pink one by the lamppost. Alright, and then make your way down the stairs. And then turn right and stare at the blue one that is looking out at the orb floating in here. Alright, and there's your trophy. Again, I don't know if the ones between the last one and this one count for looking at them a second time, but do it just in case. Again, better safe than sorry, and it's a lot better than having to go through all of them again. So once the trophy pops, make your way back up the stairs, and we're going to go ahead and exit out of this memory, and that will unlock the Mars memory trophy. So just cross the entire bridge and then enter the building at the end. Okay, and when you enter the building, there's going to be a little sign that says exit simulation. You need to interact with this sign to leave. It will only be available if you interacted with Ethan on that little bridge part where he disappeared. So if you didn't interact with him, you won't be able to exit. If you did, by all means interact with the sign and get your trophy. And then the bulk part of chapter 3 is about to start, which includes a lot of back and forth, a lot of picking up, a lot of interacting, and all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and get that done, and pretty shortly you will be having your platinums. Okay, so once you load back into this room, go ahead and turn left, and if it's not already up, interact with this touchpad to call the elevator. If it is already up, then obviously you won't be able to. So once it's available, interact with the doors, and then head on inside. And then when the doors close, you want to hit deck 1 on the panel on the left, and then just take the ride downstairs. Okay, so when the door is open, you want to take a right down the corridor, and you're going to interact with the room just here on the right. You can't go inside yet, but because you can't, you will get some dialogue in turn of interacting with the door. So once you get denied, just keep going all the way down the corridor, and again, you can hit R1 to run here. You are allowed to run. And at the very end of this corridor is going to be the medical bay, so interact with that door once you reach it. Alright, go inside to turn the lights on. And then if you turn right, there's going to be a lamp on the table over here, so interact with that a couple of times. In the middle of the room, you're going to see two sets of monitors, the single one over here and then the double, so interact with these to turn these on. And then if you turn around, there's going to be another lamp on the table on this side of the room, so interact with that. And then turn around again, and there's going to be a chair just by the window back here. On the small table next to it, there's a light that you can turn on and a magazine that you can read. So pick it up and hit R2 to read it. And make sure you hit R1 to go to the second page as well. And exit out of this. And interact with the chair to sit down, and this will count as one of the seats required for the lazy trophy. Okay, and then after a few seconds, go ahead and stand back up. And just to the left of the left side of the window is this panel with the two triangles on it. Interact with this to get a tablet, hit R2 to read the tablet, and as before, make sure you hit R1 to go to the second page as well. Then once you're done reading, exit out of here. And on the other side of the room is a door labeled MedScan 5003. Interact with this and go inside the room, and there will be like a little story cutscene that happens here.
Please relax while I run the scan. Scan complete.
Okay, so on this part, your outline is what was just showing. You need to make your way to the window where Ethan is flashing on the chair down here. You turn yourself with your right stick and then move forward with the left stick. It's a little funky and a little hard to see, but as soon as you're close by, it'll cut into the next cutscene.
Misbalance in your theta brainwaves apparently.
And this one is a little long, so just relax a little bit and wait it out, and then we'll be back in the medical room where we will continue on.
I was revisiting a memory, and then there was a presence, but not from the memory. I don't know how to explain it. The timeline got all screwed up and the simulation kicked me out, and that's when I started calling you, but you weren't responding. And then I saw my husband.
Was he the presence?
No, I don't know. There was this swarm of light inside the simulation. I think it caused the glitch. And it was there again right after you turned the equipment off.
You mean on the observation deck?
Yes, it floated there for a few moments and then vanished. Don't you have it on camera?
No,
Not even in any spectrum.
I'm afraid not.
KAAAZ, am I going crazy?
Would you like to take a psych test now?
That was a rhetorical question.
Oh,
KAAAZ, will you help me get to the pilgrimage?
yes.
What, just like that?
Some preparations are in order.
I mean, you would be breaking protocol. You shouldn't be able to do that.
There are ways around that.
What do I do?
You have to get in one of the escape pods. Then I'll steer you to the pilgrimage. First, however, you have to make a copy of me on your wrist cone.
A copy of you?
Correct. You won't be able to navigate the pilgrimage without shipnav assistance. And even if we assume that my counterpart there is online, there's a fair chance she might be an obstacle. Either way, My assistance would be of existential value to you.
So then there will be 2 of you?
Someone has to break protocol.
I'll pretend that I understand how this works. What do you need me to do?
First, you need to get a memory expansion for your wristcom from the engineering core, so I could fit in. Second, you'll have to access the mainframe and use its link port to copy me. The only Voyagers with access to the mainframe are Alice Winters and Philip Loving, so you will have to be very persuasive.
Could I have all of this in writing, please?
Done.
Okay, so when the screen pops up, it does have a tendency to freeze here and not let you go forward. Just make sure you don't hit anything outside of circle. I'm not really sure why it decides to freeze up. Like right now I'm hitting circle and nothing is happening. Just give it a few seconds.
Has anyone ever told you
Okay, and if it doesn't work right away, hit R2. That might help as well. So once you regain control, exit out of the medical bay through the doors that you came in. And just follow this corridor down. And then where that little Roomba just came out of is a corridor for the living quarters. This is where you want to go. So turn left at this little intersection. And then you're going to go in the second door on the right. Alright, interact with the door to go in. And then immediately to the right is a bed with a magazine on it. Interact with the magazine to read it. Be sure to hit R2 to actually open it up. And R1 to scroll to the second page. Alright, then exit out of here. And go a little further into the room and you'll see there's somebody laying on the bed over here. Interact with them to talk with them.
Nice try with the captain, but next time please don't speak on my behalf, alright?
Alright. And then a little bit further is like a break room area, and over here is a little game board with some dice on it. This is where you're going to get the lottery winner trophy. I know the description says pair of 6s. You don't actually need to roll a pair of 6s. It does seem like just one will do, so you really need to position your hand so that it actually picks up the dice. It's a little finicky, but there's 1 6. No trophy. So just keep rolling the dice until the trophy actually pops. Again, it is kind of all over the place. The first time I did this, I think I rolled a 5 and a 2 and it unlocked. The second time was a 6 and a 1 or something. So it's a little all over the place, and quite frankly, picking up the dice is probably the most annoying part. No. There we go. There we go. Alright, so a 6 and a 2. That'll have to do. So there's your trophy, and go ahead and exit out of this room once it pops. And then take a right. And we're going to go into the door at the very end, and this is Elea's room. So open up the door, turn the lights on. Immediately to the left is a bathroom. Interact with the door to open it up. Interact with the drawer underneath the sink. And then just put the capsule back down. Turn around and there's a little cupboard. There's nothing in it, but you can at least open up the door. Interact with the door again to open it. On the desk over here is a tablet. Pick it up. Make sure you hit R2 to actually read it. And R1 to switch to the next page. And exit out of here. And then interact with the lamp that is on the table as well. and then go over to the window, and there's going to be a little dialogue cue.
Searching for
Just
anything.
exhaust the dialogue here.
Humans don't need other worlds. We need mirrors.
Alright, and turn just to the right, and there's going to be 2 cupboards that you can interact with. The left one doesn't have anything, but the right one has a uniform. You can't pick it up or anything, so just hit L2 to put it back down. And then to the right of that is a bed. Interact with both cupboards underneath the bed. Again, you don't really have to expect anything. Just hit L2 to put it back in the drawer. And then interact with the bed, and this will count as one of the seats, quote unquote, that are required for the lazy trophy. So just sit here for a few seconds, and then go ahead and stand up. Alright, so exit out of Elea's room. And then you can run here if you want. You don't have to walk, so we're just going to book it. And then at the intersection, turn left, and then follow this corridor down.
Hey.
And you're going to follow that guy that just appeared in front of you. So just follow this corridor all the way down to the very end. He will eventually disappear, but you do need to at least chase him a little bit. Alright, and this is the end, so there's no guy here. As you can see, he has disappeared. So turn around and make your way back. And then to the right here is another corridor. This one is marked by the caution cones on the floor in case you need a reference. The only door you need is the one that is straight ahead. So this is the planetary room. Go ahead and enter it. Alright, and then straight ahead of you, this hologram table, you can turn it off. And you can turn it back on if you want. It's not required. We're going to go ahead and do so because it's pretty. And then to the right, interact with this fine gentleman on the couch.
Any new readings, Andrew?
You mean, after our little chat with the captain, what you said, it's unlikely that the firewall would just shut down on its own.
Alright, and then on the other side of the room, there are 2 desks over here, so we're going to go to the right one first, interact with the lamp over here, and there's also a tablet. So hit R2 to actually read the tablet. There's only 1 page on this one, so just keep it open for a couple of seconds and then close it. And then head over to the next desk and interact with the lamp on this one as well. And again, just turn it on and off a couple of times. You don't have to go too crazy with it. And then you're done in this room, so exit on out. Alright, now we're going to head back to the elevator. So turn right. And go past this little hose on the ground. Oh, nope, sorry, we're right here. Okay, so to the left is the recreation quarters. We do need to go in there, but we're not going to go in there just yet. Instead, interact with the elevator. And we're going to go up to deck 3 before we go into the recreation room. And this will actually make getting the sharpshooter trophy much easier because the basketball part is the finicky part. The actual clean up the bridge section of it is stupidly easy, so it's better to get that one out of the way first so that you can play around in the basketball court to try to get that one to unlock. So when the door is open, go straight into the conference room across the way and go ahead and step in to turn the lights on. Alright, so we're going to start to the left. There's a chair right here with a table with a light, a little monitor thing, and a book. So interact with the light to turn it on and off. Interact with the monitor. Put it back down. And interact with the book. Hit R2 to read it. And there's only 1 page, so you don't have to do anything else. Just go ahead and close it. And then interact with the chair just to the right of these, and this will be the final chair you need for the lazy trophy. Alright, as soon as it pops, you can go ahead and stand back up. And then interact with the white cube that's on the table here, and that'll turn on a little hologram. And then don't worry about this one just yet. Instead, go a little to the right by this other chair down here, and you're going to pick up this can. And then in the opposite corner is a little trash can, so you want to put the can in the trash can to clean up the bridge. And there you go. Alright, so now head back to the laptop and go ahead and hack it. And then just hit X again once you're ready to go. So for this, you need to shrink the sound wave with the right stick and move it with the left stick so that it matches up with the pattern behind it. So once it is small enough... Oh, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. You want to shrink it with the left stick and move it with the right stick. So once it is small enough, it will light up, just like that. And then you want to move it with the right stick so that it fits in, and then hit R2 to complete it. And go ahead and read this message, and then exit out. Alright, so now you are done with this room, so exit out of here and go straight back to the elevator, and now we're going to go down to the recreation room where we are going to play some basketball. So go back down to the deck 1. Alright, then go straight across into the recreation room. Alright, and head right into the little kitchen area, and there's going to be a magazine that's on top of the counter by the coffee cup right there, so pick that up and read it. Again, make sure you hit R2 to actually open it. There's only one page, so just keep it open for a couple of seconds and then close it. And then turn around and interact with the gentleman in the corner behind here.
I told you this request is a useless move. Yes, it was because he's the master. Where's the ball, Franco?
Alright. And then you're going to go to the opposite corner where the chairs are near that little hologram globe. And just to the right of those are some stairs leading down. So go ahead and make your way down. And then straight across, interact with the Spotology arcade.
No time for this now.
Alright, so to the left, interact with the doors, and you'll enter the gym/basketball area. So because you already cleaned up the bridge, this is going to make this part of the sharpshooter trophy much easier. Well, easier in the sense that you'll know if you're doing it right, because the trophy will pop. So what you want to do is score anywhere between 5 and 10 baskets with the ball. The finicky part of this trophy comes from where exactly you need to stand for them to count. I'm pretty sure it's as long as you're within the light, you are good. Some people said it's right up on the line, others said it was much further back. So just keep trying at it until you find one that works for you. Also, as a heads up, she does kind of hook the ball to the right, so aim a little to the left as you go through this to make it a little easier for yourself. And secondly, this equipment is bugged. If you walk in there, it will glitch out, and sometimes you will even get stuck in there. I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't just spend the past 5 minutes replaying part of Chapter 3 because that's what happened. But just be careful if your ball goes over here. If you do have to restart because you got stuck at any point, it'll start you back right after you got the scan in the medical bay. So anything you interacted with from that point, you will need to interact with again just to be on the safe side. So again, just be careful with where the ball goes and try to go around that equipment as much as possible so that you do not get stuck or you can just try to catch the ball as it comes down to you. So again, from here, just keep shooting the ball. It goes all over the place. And then eventually the trophy will unlock. So again, partly why we did the can first was so that this part would be a little easier to gauge. Oh my gosh. If I get stuck in this, I'm going to be so mad. Okay. V is tripping, y'all. Okay. Keep shooting the ball. There we go. Okay, yeah, so I only made like 5 of them, so as long as you're near the free throw line, you should be good. Again, just keep shooting them until you find a good spot for you, and the trophy will unlock. So once it does, go ahead and exit the room. Now, another little buggy part that I definitely got stuck on and had to restart. Going up these stairs, there's a little invisible wall that will glitch and you will get stuck on them. So your best chance to avoid that is to just hug the far left side of the stairs so that you can just go right up them. Do not walk in the mid or the center of these, because that's where I kept hitting it. So just a heads up on that. And go ahead and exit out of this room. Alright, and then go into the elevator. And then we're going to go down to the second deck, so deck 2. Okay, so the first thing we need to do while we're down here is turn the reactor core on. So turn right out of the elevator and go into the actual reactor core. And there's going to be a desk that you can interact with. Interact with it once to connect. Interact with it a second time to actually turn it on. So once that is on and spinning, go ahead and exit out of this room. Alright, and turn right, and we're going to go into the engineering core next. Okay, and in the back, you're going to see a person walking. You can go ahead and talk with her.
The captain is ridiculous. We might just as well go back into HEIR.
Alright, and then to the left, there's going to be a light on this table. There you go. Alright, and you can't interact with this yet, but you will shortly, probably in about 5 minutes or so. So we will be coming back to this room. But for now, go to the left on the desk over here, and there's going to be another little lamp. And this little spinny thing, I don't even know what to call it. Looks like it could be a wrist comm. I don't know if that's what it actually is, but it's spinning, so interact with that. And then head over to the desk over here, and there's going to be another one. And the lamp on this side. Okay, so that'll do it for this room for now. So go ahead and exit out. And we're going to head back to the elevator, so just go left, past the reactor core, and into the elevator. Alright, so now we're going to go back up to deck 4, which is where we started chapter 3. Okay, so go inside and you'll automatically start some dialogue with Alice. Just go ahead and exhaust it all.
He said he was coming up. Oh well. Can you do me a favor?
Sure. What is it?
I need a coffee refill in case you're headed downstairs. My mug's over here.
Cream? Sugar?
Alright, and her coffee cup. We interacted with it earlier, but now we can pick it up, so go ahead and do so. And make sure it's in your inventory before you leave. So once it is, exit out of the room and head back down to deck 1.
If I drop a pinch of Coraline, I could easily get her wrist calm. That's it. I'm sure I have some Coraline in my room.
Okay, and then from the elevator, go straight across into the recreation room. And then head right into the kitchen area, and we're going to fill up Alice's coffee cup with some coffee. So interact with this panel in the very back, the Coral Culinary panel, and you'll automatically fill her coffee cup and pick it up. Alright, so turn around and exit this room, and we're going to go to Elea's room now. Or Elea, excuse me. I keep pronouncing her name like 20 different ways. So, alright, so from here, we're going to turn left. And you can run here if you want. It's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and do so to save some time. And then turn right here, and these are the quarters, and hers is all the way down at the very end, so interact with the door to go inside. And just on the right side of the door is a med kit. Interact with this a couple of times, and she will not, so to speak, poison Alice's coffee, but definitely put some goodies in there. So once she has, open up the door, and we're going to go back to the elevator. And just as a reference, if you ever get lost, there are markers on the ground showing where everything is. I know it's kind of easy to get lost in all these corridors and hallways, so if you ever need a pinpoint to where and what direction you need to be going, just look at the ground. So we need the elevator, so we need to go left. And interact with the elevator to open up the door, and we're going to go back up to deck 4 to give Alice her new coffee. Alright, and just go ahead and place the coffee cup down where you picked it up. And this will be it for this room right now. We'll come back and visit Alice in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But for now, go ahead and exit this room back to the elevator, and we're going to go back down to deck 1 and into Elea's room. Alright, so turn right when you exit the elevator.
You have one new message.
And KAAAZ will tell you have a message, which is why we are going back to her room so that we can actually listen to it. So it says you can't run, but then he'll tell you that you can run. But either way, the first right that you can take interact with the door down at the very end, and this will be Elea's room where you can listen to the message.
The recovery is now switching to night mode. Have a good rest, everyone.
Play the message, KAAAZ.
Hello, Mother. You must be wondering why I haven't been talking to you. I realize that doesn't make much sense unless you have a reason. I found out what you did. I know it was you who insisted they reject me from the recovery. I'm surprised you thought I wouldn't eventually find out. Or maybe you didn't care. What does it matter if I found out when it's too late, right? Obviously it shouldn't keep me safe. But it doesn't make me less angry. I thought after Dad, you would know better than to blatantly betray the trust of those who love you. Don't you realize I'm the only one left? I went to see Lou yesterday. Funnily, he asked about you. Apparently now they're teaching them how to feign interest in others. He almost got me for a second, but then I saw the usual blank stare. And, yeah. Bet you're still stuck in the recovery. I thought that Milosevic guy was a real captain. I would have made a cosmic fuss if I were you. Just don't say how this means that it's better that I'm not there, okay? I can totally hear you say it. Please, don't go behind my back again. Either one of us is the only person who still loves you. Francis out.
Okay, once you regain control, go ahead and exit out of this room, and we're gonna go back to the elevator to see what happened to our dear friend Alice, who definitely wasn't poisoned in her coffee, because that is not something that we would do to a friend. Alright, so when you hit the intersection, turn left, and just keep following this down. As you see, a gentleman just took the elevator, so you are going to have to interact with the touchpad to call it back down to you before you can go inside. So hit the push key. Alright, and we're going to go up to deck 4. To load. There we go. Okay,
Alice?
And as you can see, Alice is an absolute hot mess now, which is perfect for us because now we can take her wrist comm. So go over and interact with it to pick it up, interact with it again to put it in your inventory, say bye to Alice, wish her well, and enter the elevator and go back down to the first deck. Okay, so when the doors open, turn right, and we can now go into that room that we first interacted with when we started this part, the little network room. So interact with the door to open it up, go inside so the lights turn on. There is a lamp on this table over here, go ahead and interact with that one. You don't have to read that, I don't even know if you can, to be honest, but go into the right room. And there's going to be another little lamp on this table as well. Interact with it a couple of times. And on the right wall, you will see there is a red panel and a green panel. Interact with the green panel and hit R2 to read the tablet. There's only one page, so just keep it open a couple of seconds and then go ahead and close it. And then you want to pick up the key that is on the desk on this side. So when you pick it up, give it a spin around, and you'll notice that there are 4 numbers on the back of the little key. You need to remember all 4 numbers because all 4 have a chance of opening 2 separate lockers. There's not one set code for each of the lockers, so when we get to that point, I will read these off to you again just so you have them. But here you go. Now we have a key.
This must be connected to the server.
Now your objectives will continue to tell you to inspect the key, but you already did, so you don't have to do it again. So once you're done, go ahead and exit out of this room. And then head left, and we're gonna go back to the elevator. And then head to deck 2. Alrighty. So when you exit out, left or right doesn't matter, you're going to go to the same place anyways, but go to the opposite side and you will end up in the engineering core. And we were here before, but we couldn't interact with that little box, but now we can. So head to the back of the room, ignore this person here, interact with the box to open it, and then pick up the little memory add-on and interact with it twice to actually add it to your inventory. Go ahead and exit out of this room. And then go right, and we're going to enter the server core next. Alright, when you open up the door, there is going to be a little laser. Ignore it. It won't hurt you. It won't kill you or anything. It's just there to be intimidating, apparently. But once you get to the other side, interact with the door, and you will use Alice's wrist comm. So go ahead and go inside, and then interact with the panel all the way on the other side of the room, and this will give you an access denied message, which will allow us to continue forward.
There's a daily sequence for the mainframe that you must enter.
Okay, so turn around and walk back towards the door, and as you can see, there are lockers on each side, 2 of which have a keypad on it. That's where you need those 4-digit numbers. So we're going to go to the right one first. Now the numbers that the keypad will either be 9865, 1345, 3155, or 5469. So we're just going to go ahead and do those in order and see if we can get one early on. So 9, 8, 6, 5 did not work. 1, 3, 4, 5 did not work. 3, 1, 5, 5 did not work. So it's got to be the last one, which is 5, 4, 6, 9. And there you go. There's your green one. So interact with the locker and you'll see this little helmet thing. And this is the last item to interact with for the Master of Recovery trophy. So if you did not get that, it means you missed something, unfortunately. So make sure if you have to go back, you pay attention to everything that I touched and actually clicked on and interacted with so you can get that trophy. So before we go forward, we're going to go ahead and go across this way to the left side locker. And same as before, it's going to be those same 4-digit numbers that you have the option to go through. So interact with the keypad, and we'll try the first one. 9, 8, 6, 5. Did not work. 1, 3, 4, 5. Did not work. 3, 1, 5, 5. That one did it. Alright, so once that's unlocked, interact with the locker, hit R2 to read the tablet. Okay, so for this part, you do need the key that you picked up in the network room. I'm just going to try ignoring the fact that I did not actually pick that up on this run and had to go back and get it just now. So thank you, video editing, for making sure that that's not a thing. If you did not pick up the Poke key, you need to get it from the network room on deck 1. That's where we picked it up and read the back of it. You do have to interact with it a second time to actually put it in your inventory. So just a heads up, if you did forget to do that, so did I, but I'm not going to go and show you me going back and dropping a bunch of F-bombs so that I can go and pick it up. So now that we're here, the line you want to look at is the one for Friday. And the way these numbers and letters read out, it's a letter, a Roman numeral, and a number. So F11, A23, C11, F23, and B22. So with these, if you want to turn around and look at all these panels on the floor, or the bottom of them, they are labeled with a letter, so A, B, C, D, E, F. And on either side of them is a Roman numeral. So Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, 1, 2. And then on the floor are obviously 1, 2, 3. So you need to match the pattern and put the key in each slot that matches that line that we just read on Friday. So starting with F11, we're going to go to panel F, Roman numeral 1, and then keypad 1. Make sure the key itself is highlighted in your inventory. And place it on the panel. Alright, and then next is A23. So A, Roman numeral 2, the number 3. So we're going to go over to this panel, interact with that. And then C11. So panel C, Roman numeral 1, and number 1. And then F23, so back to F. And then on the other side is 2. And number 3. And last but not least, we have B22. So go over to panel B, numeral 2, and the second little panel here. So place the key, and that'll activate everything that you need to activate.
Terrorists come against the link port to pair it with the mainframe.
Alright. And go ahead and interact with the desk in the back of the room again.
Add a permission.
And then just select allow when you are given the option.
Hello, River Elea.
Alright, and go ahead and exhaust this dialogue. Otherwise, you're just going to be walking incredibly slow.
That you have wrongfully gained access to the mainframe.
Are you kidding me?
I must follow protocol, remember? I advise you to hurry to the escape pods now, as it is highly likely that someone will try to apprehend you. Take good care of her, portable KAAAZ. Aye, aye, Captain.
This is getting far too schizophrenic.
Only a little.
Alright, so once that's done, interact with the door to exit the room, interact with the next door to exit back into the corridor, and you're going to get a phone call on the way to this. Just hit cross to accept the phone call itself, and then head back to the elevator.
Here we go.
There's the phone call, and just exhaust the dialogue before we go any further.
Captain, but I can't waste any more time.
You can and will do as you're told. Report to the bridge immediately.
I'm not the military, Captain. I have other loyalties.
You're making a big mistake, Doctor.
Okay, and then you just want to approach the elevator, and KAAAZ is actually going to lock this so that nobody else can use it.
You are alone on the deck. I'll temporarily block the elevator.
But how do I get to the escape pods without the elevator?
Go to maintenance core and from there, take
Okay, you're going to be walking slow, but make your way back to the engineering room, which is all the way on the opposite side of this corridor.
So gravitational thrusters.
Once he stops talking, you can move just a little bit quicker.
Until you've reached the pod. Otherwise, they will detect you.
Got it.
Okay. And then go on inside the engineering core. And then back where you picked up the memory add-on on the desk back there, there's going to be a uniform on the ground. So pick that up to put it on. Alrighty, and then exit out of this room, and straight across is going to be the maintenance core. So here you want to interact with the little lever that is on the left-hand side. Interact with it again to put it in your inventory, and then interact with the door to use it on the door itself. And this next part is where you're going to be getting the Good Reflexes trophy. So this does require a little bit of timing. She's going to go through some dialogue here, but if you can see the blue plate kind of sticking out at the bottom, that is the end of this little shaft. That's where you will hit the ground. So you want to hit your boosters right before you hit that to get this trophy. So you're only going to fall maybe a second, second and a half, if that, before you need to hit them. Okay, and if you hit it too soon, the trophy won't unlock, so you'll need to quit back to the main menu, and it'll start you in the engineering core just behind you, like right after you picked up the uniform that you're wearing. If you hit it too late or just not at all, you'll just die when you hit the ground, and it'll start you back just at the same spot just behind you in the engineering core where you picked up the uniform that you are currently wearing. So you technically have unlimited tries for this, but we're going to try getting it on the first run. So just go ahead and jump down and hit it right before. And if you hit it in time, you're going to get your trophy. If not, go ahead and try again.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, you're only going to be falling for like maybe a second, second and a half before you need to hit them. So just keep that in mind. So once you're ready to move on, you'll notice that there is one green panel here for you. So interact with that to open up the door, and hit R3 to crouch down. And we're going to go inside the little tunnel and then take a left at the intersection. And then take a right. And then just before the end, there's going to be another right that you can take, which is right here. So keep following that around.
Okay, I am not afraid. Do not rush.
Alrighty, and then you're just going to follow this little anomaly that's going to pop down. Follow it all the way to the end, and just to give you a little prep for the next part, when you get out of this little tunnel corridor thing, you are going to have to immediately turn right and just start sprinting. This is the start of the chase scene for the Great Escape trophy, so as soon as you exit this area, again, turn right and sprint and just keep going straight.
To the bridge immediately. I repeat, whoever lays an eye on Dr. River Elea Catherine Jones is to bring her to me this instant.
Alright, and when you're ready, go ahead and exit out and sprint. Okay, so just keep following this corridor straight, don't worry about the intersections, and you will eventually come to Alice. And when you get pretty close to her, just spam cross so that you kick her in the face. And if you think I'm kidding, I'm not. You literally kick her in the face. So wait for your screen to stop spazzing out a little bit. If you get too close to her, she will capture you, so make sure you don't do that. And once you are, turn right after her into this blue area, and you're going to be looking for escape pod number 3. So we have number 1, number 2, and make your way down over here, and you have escape pod number 3. And if you look just across from there, there's going to be some helmets on this seat down here. Can't interact with them just yet. So just wait a couple of seconds until you can. There we go. Interact with the blue one. And then go back to the door and exhaust some dialogue with KAAAZ.
Here. Kazumi, god damn you! Kaz, you must help me. Kazumi, what's happening?
Quickly, Elle, before they shut down the evac system.
Alright, when you can, interact with the door, and you'll enter the escape pod.
Setting trajectory. Prepare to eject.
And you will now be leaving the ship. Okay, so this next ending part does include the credits, but do not skip the credits. It's the same as the dialogue that I mentioned at the very start of this. You do need them to run all the way through, but this is not the end of the game. This is just the end of basically chapter 3. There is an epilogue after that we will play. So give this about, I'd say about roughly 3 minutes, and then we'll come back here and finish up that part. And that'll be it, so you have your platinum. So yeah, just be patient with this, and then we will get this cleaned up.
Who is?
She's been so lonely.
Kazumi, what's happening?
She wants to play.
Okay, so after the credits finish rolling, you'll find yourself in a long room with a door on either side of it. Basically, when you want to look for, if you look at this door in the water, there's not really any sort of glitchy or visual of any sort, but if you look at this side, you can see that it's a little sparkly. So go towards this side. And go ahead and turn around. As you can see, there's a person on the other side. Go ahead and start walking towards them. And right before you touch them, they will disappear. And turn around one more time, and they're going to be walking towards you. And when they pass through, as you can see, there are 10 TV screens around this room. Go ahead and interact with each of them to turn them on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alright, and when all 10 are on, go ahead and go to the opposite side and interact with the door on the end. Unfortunately, you cannot run, so you're going to have to walk this. But either way, once you get there, just interact with it, and this will finish the game as a whole and unlock the last 2 trophies, which are thank you for playing, and of course, the platinum. Okay, and just before I close this out, just one more reminder that if you were only missing that state or stargazer trophy for the platinum, which you could get either before you started the new game or now after, you can get it now if you didn't get it before, because there's no current game going on. So just make sure if you don't have it, you grab it here. Otherwise, congratulations, guys. Hope the platinum wasn't too much trouble for you. Yeah, I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.